Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hunger for the Hustle podcast, episode 108. It's been a while, I'm not going to lie. It's been a while since I've been here on the podcast. It's been a super busy time of year, like it has for us all. I've been doing a bit of traveling, and we've all been getting back to being able to do those things that we couldn't do for a while. But I have a guest on today who is actually a very close friend of mine. And also we have a lot in common. Not only do we both choose to call Australia our home, and we're from somewhere completely different, really far away, we both love hiking. And I already had a love for hiking, but let me tell you, Chloé deepened my love for hiking and really introduced me to some wonderful parts of Australia that I don't know if I actually would have ever seen if I hadn't met you, Chloé. So welcome to the show, Chloé.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake. How are you?
Founder of Hike Tribe. It's a pleasure to have you here. It really is. I'm going to give you a little introduction. Might be my pleasure to do so.
Go for it.
As I said, Chloé is French, as you may be able to tell by her beautiful accent, but does call Australia home, and really is where Australia you really kind of deepened and found your love for hiking. And after 7 years of exploring the Victorian trails, you fell in love with nature. I am reading some of this, guys, not going to lie. So just if you see my eyes wandering, that would be why. After 7 years of exploring the Victorian trails and hiking and the mountains and all the beautiful things it has to offer, the beautiful fauna and flora of which there is so much there, you started to hike more away from the city to reconnect and balance your life and your mind. And you completed numerous hikes, mountains, volcanoes, not just in Australia, but in France and Indonesia. And you love it. You love it clearly because you do a lot of it, and it's a passion you wanted to share with others. You were curious and enthusiastic about how you could make that happen and wanted to strive and deepen further into it. And here we go. Hike Tribe was born. I know you strongly believe that the outdoors has a huge number of benefits for us all, be them physical, mental, and I actually think spiritually as well. For all individuals, and that's why you developed the hiking program, which is why I've got you on the show today to talk about that, and amongst other things, why hiking is just so wonderful. And actually, I think it's something that's really exploded in popularity in the last couple of years, as people just want to escape more from the city and get into the country, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I guess a couple of years with COVID, people I think they realize how much they missed hiking and nature, and I think it's become very popular. Yes, and I think this is where I decided really to maybe that pushed me even more into starting the business and launching that program I'm going to talk about. So should I talk about Hike Tribe?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I agree with you that hiking is just it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful way to escape, particularly the clutches of COVID. I mean, one great thing about hiking is you don't see anyone wearing a mask when you're on a hike out there in nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's reconnecting with nature is very important on a number of levels, and I think hiking. Obviously, it's not so obvious, I suppose, if you haven't been on a lot of hikes, but you get to places on your 2 feet that you could never get perhaps on a mountain bike to some degree, but certainly not in a vehicle. And you get to places that are really off the beaten path. Sometimes no one's been there for weeks or months at a time, and they're very undisturbed places. And in a place like Victoria, which is, a pretty big state. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, Victoria is roughly the size of the UK, and that's just one of the several states in Australia, and the Australian state in which Melbourne is. But let's pull it back to the start and get onto Hike Tribe. And where did the idea for the business come from, and how did you actually get it started?
So as you mentioned before, I first arrived about 8 years ago, and I realized after maybe a couple of years how much I was missing going in the outdoors, because I settled in Melbourne. I found a job in marketing, and I was in this need of getting outdoors, and I didn't. I feel like my roots back in France. My family is from the mountain, and I think I didn't realize how much I actually needed this in my life until I was deprived of it. And I didn't realize that I actually reconnected to my roots, even though the mountains are completely different here in Australia. But I really started to fall in love with the outdoors here, even though it's completely different. And I decided to go on hikes, and I realized that I could literally go on a hike within 1 to 2 hours away from Melbourne, spend a full day in nature, re-energize, feel great, being active, get my body going, get my body working, breathing, and then meeting people, and then coming back to my life, and and then keep on going with the thing I've planned here in Melbourne, and that full day of accessing to the outdoors was so resourcing for me that I started to do it more and more. And then I don't know, it just slowly just the idea comes to my mind where, oh my God, there's so many people who wants to do that, and they sometimes they just don't have the courage, because I'm someone very outgoing, so it's easy for me to go with strangers and just tag along, and but some people they might need a bit more encouragement. They feel like they might also doubt themselves in terms of, am I going to be physically capable to do hikes, like how hard it is. They don't have the conception. And this is where I felt like a lot of people like me could just go and learn themselves and make a lot of mistakes on the way, by the way. But some people, they really, I was feeling for them. I was like, I think what I'm experiencing right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are thinking, oh, I would love to do that, especially showing what I was doing to my friends, because I felt like I was having a disconnected life just for me while I was going hiking. And then I could see just a spark in people's eyes. And I was like, okay, there's probably something to do here. So I started to build on the idea. I've never been an entrepreneur before.
You are now.
Like, where do I start? It's so not daunting, but you know what I mean? You just, when you're an entrepreneur, like when you don't know how to be an entrepreneur, you don't know where to start. So
I mean, how are you meant to know how to do something you've never done before? You just have a go at it, get some advice, and make some mistakes, essentially, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you don't know at all how to put things together and start this journey. So personally, I went to school, a really innovative school that is focusing on supporting people to build on their business idea, or even build a business if they're about to start. And honestly, without having this school, I wouldn't have the confidence and the strength, because I've never worked in that, or think that way, the entrepreneur brain.
And what was the school called? Is it the same one our friend David works at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Inside Academy. So
Inside
really,
Academy, that's it. I couldn't remember the name. Great, a really great place, especially for internationals coming to Melbourne.
absolutely. But I think it's also a school to. It doesn't have to be just international, people.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's really open to everyone. Anyway, so I've just went there, and I think it took me. I actually didn't start the business while I was at school. I just built on the idea. You've got this you've got a concept, and then it's like a step forward to, like, okay, now I'm learning the knowledge, the processes. But a lot of people stay there, and I think I stayed there for like quite a while. And then I actually throw myself out there as soon, I think, when COVID started almost. I mean, it's just weird, because it's a challenge. COVID is a challenge for me, especially in the outdoors. That people have told me, you're crazy to start something in the outdoors now, because what about, it's not certain, if we go in lockdown, and I don't know, maybe it's a challenge of it, but it just pushed me to just do it even more. Also, I guess during that time, I had more time to actually sit down, I think everyone went through this, where you can sit down and take the time to build something. And that, I think, really enabled the process for me to get out there. So this is how Hike Tribe started. And I've really talked about, I think, some reasons why I wanted to start this, but I also think for me, it was mentally a way to process, to also deal with my life, day-to-day life, and yet feel balance, as you mentioned before. I realized it really calmed my moods, and I just felt that it was helping me mentally, going outside and hiking. So this is why I was like, I think a lot of people can relate to this, and they would love to experience it as well. So that's it.
No, I can relate to so many things you said, particularly, the reconnection with your home country, and the fact that, you came from the mountains, whereas I really didn't come from the mountains, but had done some hiking at a lesser degree that I ended up, doing it with you guys and the challenge we did last year. But I do feel like I got that kind of reconnection, even though it looks like a very different environment. I had done some mountain hikes in the UK, and it kind of helped me reconnect into that. And I think you touched on something that's really important there, was that it's one of the few kind of physical activities. Well, no, not one of the few. I suppose a lot of physical activities do that, but it kind of resets you, recharges you, re-energizes you whilst you're doing it. Because as well as being physically active, and for sure some of the hikes we went on were demanding. They took a lot of physical capacity to do and get and finish.
But don't you think it's what's amazing about hiking? It's the fact that you don't need a special skill to do it. For example, I don't swim. I'm trying to learn at the moment, and I think I've been trying to learn how to swim for many years. I think I'm more like the person who likes to be touching the ground than being in water. But it doesn't require a special skill, because everyone knows how to walk. So there's definitely a preparation. There's definitely there's a lot of things to take into consideration, and you need some training. It depends on the hike you want to achieve, but it's something that is accessible to everyone, and this is what I love about it. It's accessible to every age, everyone, and I'm just, this is also what motivates me, because it doesn't even it can feel like overwhelming when you want to achieve one of those big hikes. You still know that you can put a foot in front of the other, and you are actually, you can do it. And that's also why I really believe in hiking, and that everyone can access it. So that's something. This is why. And then the program so the idea of a hike tribe, it's not only to facilitate the access to the outdoors on a day hikes, which I really love, and I think it's a great start. But I want to develop more and more programs. So I'm starting right now with one thing at a time. Something I've tested with you, actually. So and the feedback I had, and the people behind me, like supporting me in this, and all the research that I've done, I think have really pushed me to do it. So this program maybe really support people and to achieve bigger hikes, longer hikes, to one of those secluded location, so this is a bit of a difference between the day hikes you can do and those hikes where you need like maybe a training and support to be able to achieve it, because it's not it's secluded and more exclusive, let's say.
Well, and that's it, and I think we'll definitely dive into the challenge that I did with you earlier last. I keep thinking it's still like 2021, like and it's like till the end of January. We keep saying this year, and it's not. It's last year. Last year, the challenge we did. We'll definitely get into the information on that and what we did shortly. But I think it really, as well as there's a big difference between going hiking, like finding someone on Google that's got lots of reviews and is going to be good, as opposed to like finding the real ones that are off the beaten track, that are that are really secluded, really out of the way, really outstanding places of beauty, places where the path genuinely isn't walked that often. You might have to make some of the path yourself. The places where you don't really live and see other people, and you tend to see, I find, in those sort of places, a lot more nature, a lot more animals, because they're not as pressured or stressed or disturbed in their natural environment. We saw all kinds, didn't we? Although I spotted the goat on that one hike. I spotted the goat first on that one hike. I manifested the goat. That's what happened there.
A beautiful white goat staring at us.
Proof that you can manifest anything. But birds. We saw so many things, like kangaroos. I don't think there's any koalas. No, I'm not sure. Like
I think you saw a snake, haven't you?
I saw my first ever snake in Australia.
I remember that. You said it was your first ever.
And it was actually swimming as well. That was the weirdest thing. It was in the water and it was swimming. So it wasn't only the first snake I'd seen, but it was also first snake I'd ever seen swimming at the same time. So just side note for everyone watching who's like, I don't want to live in Australia, it's full of things that kill you. It took me 5.5 years to see my first snake. So don't believe everything that you are told.
Yeah, I got really lucky because I've done so many hikes, and I think I came across maybe twice or 3 times snakes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a thing in Victoria as well. You really don't tend to see as many as you might think you would.
They are there. A lot of time I heard hikers saying, there's a snake just there, but I've just got very lucky and not seeing many.
Well, they're always more scared of you than you are of them, right? So if you're making a bit of noise, they're always going to disappear. But again, that inside knowledge, getting into these more secluded, off the beaten track places, these are the things that you just don't know unless you're going on hikes with people like yourselves who are very experienced and have spent several years hiking. And I think that literally, and I'm not just saying this because you're in front of me on the podcast, the hike challenge I did with you, I was actually going through a pretty crap time at the time, like a lot of us were. We were in the middle of this weird thing that no one had been through before, where life kept stopping and starting. And we were actually really blessed, weren't we, that we got to do all the hikes without any disruptions.
Absolutely. It was just really lockdowns, I think.
Yeah, it really did help me. It really did help me, and it actually made such a big impact on my life, and recharged my batteries all the time. And I met a great bunch of people doing it. There were 14 of us that went on. It was 6 hikes, wasn't it? 1 pretty much every weekend, some training before, and then 2 in 1 weekend at the end.
Yeah, so this is the program,
Yeah, is the program the one that's coming up, which launches tomorrow, right? Wednesday?
Yes. Tomorrow we open the getaway for people to purchase the program. Yes, so it's super exciting.
Let's hear a little bit more about that. How's it looking this time? Is it going to be the same amount of hikes?
It is. I think we added an extra week because I realized last year that maybe a week was needed. And then it also does like a full 2 months program where let me start a bit back. So it's called the Alpine Hiking Challenge program, and the goal of that program is to train and prepare people to achieve a long, challenging hike in the Alpine region, in the Victorian Alpine region. And to do so, we actually taking people on a weekly hike near Melbourne. And each week, the hike gets a bit harder in terms of length and altitude gain and distance as well. And that's to just so people can just, get their body used to hiking and don't scare them off as well straight away with massive long hikes. But is just so they can build on this week after week. And I guess maybe what's different as well from the one you've done is there will be also a strong online support. So we're also going to follow each participant with their hiking journey and the experience they're living in that program, and then support them, follow their performance each week. And then we're going to provide small individual training. We're going to support them in doing their own training as well. So, send few challenging across and create a platform where all the participants can connect and support each other, because it as much as it's something you do for you personally, you still run this in a team, in a group, and you're gonna have to depend on each other because everyone needs to do that challenge, that long hike, together. And so you still need to have this team spirit and this group spirit.
Of course.
And so there's 6 group training, so 1 each week. There's online support throughout the whole 2 months, and then on the 8th week, which is the last week of the challenge, people will achieve a 50 kilometers hike in 2 days.
Oh, it's got bigger.
So longer than what you've done. 3 peaks, so an extra peak to climb, and then a total ascent of 3,000 meters altitude.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That is a little bit more.
Also a bit more ascent. Yeah.
I'm actually because when does it start? Remind us when it starts.
So the program itself will start the week of the 19th. So I think from Monday the 14th of February. The first group hiking will be on the 19th. And then it'll keep going up until the final weekend challenge, which is from the 8th to the 10th of February. Oh, sorry. Yes, February.
Yeah. So that.
Oh, no. I'm getting confused. Sorry, April. 2 months. So the 8th, the 10th of April. So sorry.
Yeah. So you could say it runs from mid-February to mid-April.
Exactly.
2 months. Yeah. So I mean that's great. It's wonderful. I am upset that I can't actually do it again. That is upsetting. But I have a strong feeling. We've been talking a lot about this. I know it's going to be a huge success for you. To the point that I know there's going to be more in the future. So that's I'm like, it's okay. There's going to be more. There's going to be more.
I hope so.
Yeah, but it was just such an. You said there about the teamwork and the camaraderie of it. I'm someone that comes from a background of construction and working in teams, and I've done a lot of different things. It's always been working in a team environment, and it's great to go on hikes with with a partner, with a best friend, with a family member when there's just a couple of you. But it was a whole different thing for me going with that many people. I've probably been with maybe 5 or 6 people before, but when there's 14 of you, there was varying abilities throughout the team. Some people found it really difficult. Some people found it difficult at various parts. And then some people, very annoyingly, found it easy all the way. I was somewhere in the middle at different parts, I think. But I mean, it was quite different. We did it. We started in. When did we start? Did we start in April or did we finish in April?
I think we finished in just the start of May, I think.
Start of May, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really close to. I think a week later, it was snowing in a mountain.
That's right.
And we got absolutely lucky because we had 2 days of the best weather you can expect in the mountain, especially in the mountain where things changes so quick. Already Melbourne, we all know that the weather is unpredictable, but we got even luckier, I think, being able to hike in those conditions. So it was
about snow at the top of Mount St Leonard. Top of Mount St Leonard, sorry, which is one of the mountains we climbed. that's where I saw my first ever snow in Australia as well. So like these are the kind of things that you're gonna see. And I know, you know, whether you're watching this now or later, all you Melburnians that live in the city and feel like I want to get out, I've been stuck here for such a long time, I want to do hiking, or I've done a bit, or want to do some more of it. These are the kind of things you're going to experience. Like I saw my first ever snow, and this is after living there for 6 years. My first ever snake. Just went to. I mean, I think we did one a week and then 2 in one weekend. So was it? I think we went out on. Was it 6 or 7 trips overall? I can't remember.
You guys did, I think, 5 trips before.
5,
Yeah.
okay. But like there was only one that I'd been on Yuyangs that I'd been on before, you know, and that's like your kind of typical. That's like your kind of typical close to Melbourne hike, isn't it? Somewhere like the Yuyangs. But then as we got further and further away, and to Bright and up near Mount Beauty and Mount Feathertop, these are places that I just none of them I'd been to before. When you really get into the Alpine region, up near Mount Feathertop and what's the place we stayed in? That area. No, we stayed in Bright, didn't we? But where we had that lovely meal in that kind of big log cabin looking ish place at the end of it.
Yeah.
Dinner plan. That was it. Such a beautiful place. Such a beautiful place. But let's get back to the kind of the more business side of it, because I could talk to you about our hiking experiences forever and a day. But you know,
Yes.
that's not in whole while we're here. So what has been your kind of biggest challenge since you've been started building Hike Tribe thus far?
Okay. It feels like every single step is a challenge, you know, especially when you start the entrepreneur journey. I think we've until now, and I might face bigger challenge in the future, but I think the biggest challenge was myself. I think when I think about it, it was just throughout this whole development of the program is just staying positive, being consistent, you know, just believing in myself. That was my biggest challenge, I think, because there's been so many days where I thought, what am I doing? And where am I going? And is this going somewhere? And I still don't know if this is going somewhere, but I do believe it because I wouldn't be here otherwise. But, you know, I think what really, I think I was myself the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And
sometimes we get in our own way, right?
Yes. Then, of course, aside from it's just, you know, the fear of failure that sometimes just makes you, you know, you close the computer and then you avoid it for like, sorry, yeah, close the computer for a week, completely forget about everything. And that happened many times. Like I'm going to be very honest. That's why it might have taken me those 2 years, you know, before I just was like, no, okay, just stop closing the computer and just keep going. Also the fear of being judged. You know, everyone has an opinion on what you're doing. So all those things is just like, it's just personal challenges. And then after, if you go more into like the practical side of developing the program, I guess what is still today for me the biggest challenge is just being on social media and then advertising this, because I'm just more a people person, and I'm not really good in this, but I've got an amazing team that supports me with this. But yeah, I think maybe so, you know, all that side of it, all the social media, and that is what has been quite challenging in developing the business and the program. And then COVID as well. I guess this is a challenge for everyone. But this were the struggles that I faced.
Yeah, thanks for just being so honest and answering that question in a really honest way. I appreciate that, and I'm sure any of the guys listening to will as well. The fear of failure is a big one, right? It drives us. I think it paralyzes us, but it can also drive us as well, because when you get to a point when you're starting out and you're like, can I do this? Is it going to work? And then you get to a latter point where you've invested so much into it. You're like, I need this to work now. There's no way it can't work. Because it's you kind of give yourself the only option to go down that one road. So as well as it paralysing, it can drive you at the same time when you switch the energy onto it. And another thing you said, which we just talked about this the other night, didn't we? You said social media side of it, not loving it too much, and particularly if you're someone that, like you are, you'd rather go on a hike than sit on Instagram for 2 hours. Nothing wrong with sitting on Instagram for 2 hours. That's what you want to do. Go ahead, do what you do.
Yeah.
But when you have to make that transition from knowing how powerful social media is in any business now, and has been for a minute, and you're like, I've actually got to do this. I've actually got to spend a fair bit of time on here, grafting away, cultivating the content, making sure it's posted at the right time. It's a plethora of stuff, and getting your head into that.
Yeah, because you want to reach out to people, because otherwise, how can I even, how can I have this program if I don't have the people for it? And
I came across it on Facebook, through a mutual friend. That's how I came across it, and I think that's how. Let's be honest. If you want to look for something new these days, you either Google it or you find it through a social media platform. Instagram is becoming increasingly used in that capacity to just find services. And for me as well, this is something I've really been focusing on this year. I'd much rather find a small business, someone who's independent like yourself, and use their services, products, give them my hard-earned cash, rather than like a big outfit, big business. Because I know, like, in my heart, in my soul, that feels better for me. And also I just think that having been through the journey of small business and entrepreneurship, which I'm still in, like, I want to give back to that and support other people who have frankly, the courage to do the same. Because
I think this is also a big part of being an entrepreneur. There's a lot of support amongst us, because we really relate and understand how it is to just be by on your own in this. It's very lonely in the end. Pathway,
as of life.
Yes,
super lonely.
Exactly. So it's actually I think super strong, the bond and the support you can get from other entrepreneurs.
Just the understanding as well.
This is what I love because it feeds us, and it boosts our energy when we feel when we were talking about doubting, and like I get a lot of support from other entrepreneurs, and some people become mentors as well, and they have a big role to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And you surround yourself with those people, definitely. It's actually really, I'm going to slightly segue a little bit here, but it's really interesting because I noticed it even more prevalently when I came back to the UK. The amount of friends that I haven't have known for years in school, a lot of them have started their own businesses now because, driven out of COVID. Maybe they wanted to for a while, but they were pushed into, I know some of my friends were pushed into situations where they knew they always wanted to, but then it kind of it sped it up. It was a catalyst for making it happen because maybe they lost their job, or maybe they just had a lot more time, or and they
realized it was okay to just stop for a second and maybe do the things that you want to do, and it kind of the stress you have on it when you have your your day-to-day job, the stress you have of quitting all this and maybe work towards things you're passionate about. People are not doing it because we feel like it's something impossible to do. But since COVID happened, where everyone had to stop or slow down, or then they realize, well, life goes on, in the end, and they can do it. Yeah. So
particularly if you're in a business or space that everyone's in the space where you can advertise online, everyone is. That's where everyone's eyes are. So that's kind of side of it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So let's switch from failures and the most difficult parts. Let's flick the switch to wins. Like, what's been some of the moments that you were like, this is it. This is what I should be doing. This makes me feel really good inside and really proud.
Yeah. Same as the challenges. It's just so many little wins, you know. It's like it's little wins, mini goals that you do and you achieve, you know, one after the other, that makes you feel okay. This is great. I guess so far, at this stage of the development of that business and program, I guess my biggest win is the amazing human beings that join me in this venture, which are the guides and the staff that I hired. So for me, this is this is my biggest win, because they truly, you know, it's a casual job, because it's only for the length of that program.
Mhm.
So for people to be able to, you know, just say, yeah, okay, I'm happy to do it, you know, and they believe in this. That for me was, I feel again supported through that.
Yeah.
Um, and I can feel like they're also gaining from doing it personally, and that's amazing. It's like, it's again about this. I feel like supporting in a way, um, you know, people doing things that they would love to do as well, but they, you know, they've got their novel life, and then they do that on the side, and because they actually believe in this.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that was my biggest win, is just to surround myself with experience, amazing people who will be leading and leading this program with me.
Mm. And
My
people are
biggest,
carefully picked as well, you know, because I know you had quite a few people apply and speak to you about it, and it's,
yeah,
you know, it's important. It's important to have the right guides. They've got to be people that are experienced, that have probably, you know, been on some hikes and experienced some things go wrong, so they, you know how to deal with them, which very occasionally they do. You know, you are out there in the wilderness at the end of the day. Kind of anything can happen to that degree.
yeah,
Um, so I know you carefully, you know, handpicked, as you could say,
yeah,
the guys
exactly.
that are joining you on the next challenge. And you know, I've seen some of them. Some of them I know. Some of them actually been blessed enough to go on hikes with before. So yeah, like I'll say this now, you know, and I know how you feel on that. It's like uh, it starts to feel really good when something that you believe in so much and have put so much
Mm,
time, effort, and energy into. It's like, and then someone else comes along and they're like, I'm all about it, I'm backing it, you know, like I want to be a part of it. It just like, it's a big thumbs up. It makes you feel so good. And
yeah,
I believe in it. I believe absolutely in Hike Tribe. I know what it's all about because I've done it. And actually, I'm actually really excited. I'm more excited than I am gutted I can't come, for the people that are going to do it, and I know that are going to enjoy it because of the value
yeah,
it's going to bring to them. You know,
yeah,
like from the hikes I went on with you, it inspired me to take other friends hiking who perhaps haven't been before, or have only kind of dipped their toes in. And it's just you know, you're making memories at the end of the day. That's what you're doing. You're making memories. And when you get to, you know, the summit of, even if it's just a big hill or a small mountain or a huge one, it always feels great. You never
yeah,
forget that.
yeah.
And it's just a big achievement. It's something I think everyone should do
Yeah.
at least once, because once you
And
do it once, it's one of those things you want to do 100 times over.
mhm. I think this is the biggest. I think this is what really drives me to do this. It's seeing people feeling so proud of themselves and feel like they achieved something for them, you know. And
Hmm.
that's for me. This is the reason why I'm doing this. It's just people thought I would have never done that, you know, if I didn't join the program.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and this is why as you mentioned, you know, the experience guides and the program is all about preparing you in a safe way. I really want to put the safety up front here, because
Mm.
um, eh, there's there's a whole, you need to build muscle memory. You need to build a bit of strength, and so many people think they just can go off, but then they like injuries happened. It happened to me. So I know that I'm talking about, and um, it's not something when you want to do those kind of hikes. Okay, it's not something you can just go like that. You need preparation, and you need to understand also your environment. And that's why we've got this program, because the people, the guides, will be here to give you all that knowledge and all that support. So
Wonderful.
yes.
Wonderful. Safety is a big part of it, you know. Safety is a big part of it, and being equipped with the right stuff.
Absolutely. This is the other part. It's like the physical preparation and understanding which equipment you need to acquire to support you, in this, because, as I said before, nature is unpredictable. For example, a rain jacket, it's like a must-have. You might not use it, which is great, but like if you don't have it, and we experience a full day of pouring water
every season,
and this is where you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I understand now how necessary this is, because otherwise you spend a really bad time. But you don't have to be. It could be also fun. It depends how you decide to stay positive and enjoy even in a difficulty. And then you even feel more, you even feel more proud of yourself.
For sure.
Yes.
When you
like,
persevere
oh my God, it was a hell.
And you know what hike I'm thinking of when I say the wet one. Remember the one where we're like, sometimes you go on a hike and it starts raining halfway through, and you're like, okay, I can deal with this. I'll get my raincoat out. This is all G. And then that hike was different though. It was like, it rained when we got there. It rained throughout. It just didn't stop. And even like you get changed into your dry clothes at like halfway through, and you're like, no, I'm definitely still completely wet through. It was just like there's just no left. But the reward at the end for persevering, for getting through it, and saying, no, I'm not going to quit, even though I'm soaking wet, even though the ground is slippy, even though this isn't the best conditions. In fact, it's probably near. No, I wouldn't say it was the worst, because it could have been a lot colder. There's a difference between cold and being wet and cold. Big different thing. Obviously, it has a very different effect on your body, but just the reward and the satisfaction after all of that, through pushing through it, was just amazing. Like a hot shower after that just feels.
It's where you appreciate the little things in life, after.
It does. I mean, I'm someone who always takes time to appreciate the little things in life. Sometimes I'm better than others, but when you go through experiences and trips like that, it really does highlight those things for you. And also, it's nice I think we touched on this. It's nice to be away from your devices, away from the digital world, and frankly, be in a place where your phone doesn't even work properly. It's nice.
This is a part of it, definitely. Re-energizing, reconnecting with yourself, but by disconnecting from your day life, your day routine, disconnecting from social media or your phone. And this is, I think, the whole part of it. It's a whole experience, I guess. Really what I want to, maybe the point I want to make here, it's this 2 months program. It's not just, us providing you a training and preparation and all that. It's also you to be, it's also the person who wants to, I don't know how to explain that, who also wants to maybe reset and how can I say, just maybe for 2 months, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to sleep early. I'm going to put the best conditions into this program of myself. I'm going to be the best of myself. So you really give yourself, your body, a chance to do something amazing. And this is like going to bed early, eating healthier, stopping, reducing screens and social media. And I think this is like a personal journey on that level. If I explain it well.
You did. You did. You did. Well, I understand it. It's for those who want to disconnect and reconnect. Disconnect from maybe so much of city life, however that looks to you, busy, hectic life, and reconnect with nature, because at the end of the day, we all came from nature. Wind it right back here. We are all like tribal beings who like to connect and be in nature with other humans. And I think we all, we've come over thousands of years, come very far from that and become very disconnected with it, where a lot of us live in these concrete jungles, in some of us, in these small apartments and boxes. And it's very easy to just sit in that and be very comfortable when everything's just there on demand and is there very easily to you, to become completely disconnected with nature. But I think when you do reconnect with it and you are in it, it can, like you say, it can inspire you to make a whole healthy lifestyle change, to your eating, your sleeping, the way you connect with yourself and the way you connect with others, and then the way you apply yourself to your career, to your relationships, to your health. It really can have a snowball effect.
I suppose this is what I want to promote. I really want to promote health with this, because it's a different kind of health, that mental health and physical health, and
No, I love it. I think you're going to do that, definitely. Right, Chloe, I think we've actually, I didn't think we'd go for this long. I could go for way longer. I'm having lots of fun talking to you. And I'm sure that everyone's having lots of fun listening. But we do need to wrap it up. It's getting late here. And I know you've probably got a full day ahead knowing you. So let's tell the guys, while I leave it in the comments, where if they want to speak to you more about Hike Tribe, or just learn a little bit more about what's gone on in the past and perhaps how they could get involved. Because I know there's been a lot of contact, a lot of attention for this upcoming hike. A lot of people wanting to join, and there is only limited spots, right? How many spots is there?
So there's 22 spots.
Okay.
Today people can still register. So they can go to the landing page. They've got the link on my bio on Instagram, or they can go through the website as well. But they can still pre-register. So they just have to give their details, and then tomorrow we do the full opening, full launch. So 22 spot available, and then there's also an early birds price that will run all the way to the end of January, to the 31st of Jan.
Yeah. So 22 sounds like a fair few, but I know from the interest you've had already, there's probably not that many left, and a lot of people live in Melbourne. So get onto Chloé, guys, if this sounds like the kind of thing you would like to do. I'm telling you, I did it. You know how I am. I'm honest, I'm authentic, I'm genuine. I always am on this podcast. It just had the biggest, most positive impact on my life. Taught me so much as well. Enabled me to see parts of Australia that I don't think I would have ever seen otherwise. And yeah, just do it. Just do it. Put the investment in yourself, and your life to create some memories.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree better.
Well, it's been so good to chat to you. I am gutted I can't. I'm not won't even be in the country for this one, but I wish you all the best with it. I know it's going to be a huge success. And,
thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it roll out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you to anyone who is watching and listening to this, wherever you are in the world. Really appreciate your support as always. Stay hungry, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on hustling, folks. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.